Yes, right. Okay, I got you.
Peace.
Peace.
First thing I want to say is peace to the earth.
Peace.
Happy Earth Appreciation Day.
Thank you.
Wow, enthusiasm just spilling on the floor. Like that.
Thank you.
Wow. Sarcasm. Thank you for all this enthusiasm. But we're gonna open up and we're gonna get into our program at the Power Hour. Kazi, I want to build on today's mathematics, so we're going to build on today's mathematics, and then we're going to get into the program. Also, those some handsome young guys, but they at the wrong table. We set up this part right here for the Earths.
Okay.
The yellow table is for the children, yes.
Okay.
But they welcome, though, into the Earths, the other Earths start coming in. I'm quite sure.
Thank you. For making knowledge form.
Peace. On the mic. Got the mic today. So again, peace.
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 Peace. My name is Kazir Knowledge of Law from Power Hill, otherwise known as Philadelphia. And like God said, we're going to start the Power Hour, but until then, we just, going to do what we normally do about this time. You know what I mean? Today's mathematics is wisdom. Wisdom is many, many things. Application of knowledge, good judgment, proper discernment, all those particular things. So on this day of wisdom, we look at wisdom as the application of knowledge. Our knowledge is rooted in, supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, 120 degrees. We quote those degrees, we acknowledge those degrees, but most importantly, we go through our daily lives and we apply those degrees. We manifest our culture through our wisdom. And that's what we're doing today. We're manifesting a part of our culture. We're showing our culture by, appreciating our earths, just like last month they appreciated us. That's manifesting your culture and showing and born in your culture so that everybody can acknowledge it and recognize who we are. Today's mathematics being wisdom, when you look at it in the 1 to 14, why did Musa have a hard time civilizing the devil in the year 2000 BC? And that answer says what? Because he was a savage. Savage means what? A person who's lost the knowledge of himself and is living what? A beast life. So when you lose the knowledge of yourself, or when a person loses the knowledge of themselves, they're no longer what? They're no longer applying that knowledge because it's been lost. So when we look at wisdom, we realize that we apply that information, and that's how we remain civilized, because the meaning of civilization is one having what? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement is not established in the pursuit of happiness. That particular degree begins with knowledge and wisdom, because those are the first two degrees of order. Civilization is also order. So when we look at Musa and him having a hard time dealing with that civilization, it's because those people, or him, depending on how your understanding of that degree is, they did not apply that knowledge. Knowledge that's not used is basically purposeless. Light that shines on nothing is almost like it doesn't exist. So it's our duty to always be mindful that once you get the information, not just 120 degrees, not just math and alphabet, but any information, it's useless until you actually use it. It's useless until you show its power by taking it through the steps, by taking that knowledge, applying it to the cipher that you're working within, seeing it clearly for what it is, living it out, and then you demonstrate your power by showing its value, by actually exercising it in the cipher that you in. So that's just my little understanding on wisdom, and I'm really focused on, what we're going to do at the Power Hour, but I want to keep building a little bit. I'm not really a mic person. So also you look at wisdom in the 1 to 40, which is relevant to today on a lot of different degrees. You look at the wisdom degree in the 1 to 40 and it says what? What is the circumference of the planet Earth? 24,896 miles, right? So what's the relevance of wisdom, the planet Earth, and the circumference? I got my math major over here. You know that equation? You know that equation? I know we thought about that before. I didn't actually ask it, but you know what I'm thinking about when I talk about the circumference of the planet Earth and its relevance to the number 2 or wisdom. Anybody know the equation for the circumference of a cipher or a circle? Pi D, which is also what? 2R, right? 2R. So that's that wisdom. What's up with that sound?
Right.
That's the doorbell? All right. So, you know, that's pi, that's 2 pi r, 2r pi. You know what I mean? 2 times the radius times pi, which is approximately 3.14. That's how we get the circumference of the circle. So, looking at that, the equation is the knowledge. When you apply that equation to this particular cipher, you're talking about the planet Earth, you get your 24,896. The planet Earth, which is the home of Islam, is approximately 25,000 miles of circumference. So we use this planet, we walk on this planet, and not just talking about the Earth, because that's an analogy, like God always say. You know what I mean? The black woman is symbolic to the Earth, or the Earth is symbolic to the black woman, but she's not physically the planet. That's an analogy. Because they have similar properties. They have a biosphere, a stratosphere. You know, they have different levels that are analogous to the black woman. You know, you have 3/4 of water. That's also an analogy to the black woman. You know, that's actually an analogy to all men. Because we're all comprised of approximately 3/4 of water physically. More so like 72%, or, you know, don't need to be a stickler. You know, but so you look at that planet Earth, you know, you got different things that are symbolic to the original one. You have in a core, you know, which is actually solid, right? Right? All right, and then right outside that inner core, you have a liquid body, right? That's just like the Earth here, who's with child now. You know, within her, she has that actual physical body, and that physical body is surrounded by what? By that liquid. These are the connections between the original woman and Earth. And both of these are all connections to wisdom, because we're applying the information of the universe to things right here on Earth, to actual facts that take place, so we can show them that our mathematics isn't just theoretical things we throw out there. We can show them proof that they're real here and now. So also you look at the planet Earth, you look at the top layer, the crust or the soil. That's synonymous to the skin. Or in some perspectives, what is it? The term incorrectly. But let's just stick with the skin, keep it simple. So, you know, it's symbolic to that. You know, they also speak of an aura, or every physical object actually gives off energy. So aura is nothing spooky, that's an actual science. That's symbolic to the atmosphere around the planet. You know, that keeps what? And when you talk about astronomy, you talk about asteroids, you're talking about different things trying to enter the Earth's atmosphere, and that biosphere, or that atmosphere actually protects the actual crust and the water by destroying those elements or breaking them down to a digestible size, because they still get here in most cases. It's just in a different form. So like when a rock or a meteor comes through the atmosphere, it gets burned up and it's turned from what? From a physical form to a gaseous form. But it still reaches the planet. It just becomes in a digestible way. So that's the same thing when you're dealing with, for example, let's deal with a real example. If you're dealing with a negative situation, or people who are around you negatively, you know, your ability to filter out the negativity and make it something digestible so that you find it useful, or just detect them for who they are, that's symbolic to that process on the planet Earth. You know what I mean? So let's think of another degree here. I like the one before here a lot. So, you know, we look at the wisdom cipher degree, which is what?
Prescribed law is wrong to say person in that building.
Prescribed law. What are the prescribed laws of the person
What I
in
just
that
said.
building? Right? And the answer is Must be punished by the nation of Islam. So again, that degree I can still draw up to dealing with wisdom. Because you have the civilized, who's the foundation, the root, the person or the people that keep things in order. And then you have the uncivilized, you know, and that's the people that the civilized people are responsible for. And the uncivilized, the thing about any 85, you know, especially, you know, when you spend more time around pure 85, like in your 85 days or your high school days or whatever it was, what do? They follow the most popular person. They follow and was attracted to the person or the piece with the magnet. They operated in a state of wisdom. They reflected that knowledge. So the same thing applies here. You know, the responsible, the civilized is held responsible for the uncivilized. It's our duty to ensure that everything that comes after knowledge is in its proper place, in its proper perspective, because we the pieces with the magnet. We the knowledge. So we got to ensure that wisdom is used accordingly, properly. We have to ensure that understanding is really understanding and not misunderstanding. We have to ensure that the culture is kept pure and not just a way of life other than what we determine. We have to show and prove that power is truly a reflection of our culture, and show and prove that equality is not just a term of endearment or a theory of being fair, but we're actually exercising equality to one another and also the uncivilized. Because you still got to demonstrate equality to the uncivilized. Because what's equality? What's equality? All of those, right, exactly.
Same status, same race, same privileges.
Right. You know, also I see equality as giving what you get. Keep it simple. Or, like God said, balance, because when you're dealing with balance, you don't necessarily give what you get. You give what's necessary to keep the equilibrium of the cipher. Because somebody can step in here and be on some destruction, and I can return that destruction, or I can straighten that person out. Get them upright. Give them civilization. That's balance. But both of those are equality. Because that's the dynamics of mathematics. Mathematics can be applied in an infinite array of ways. Because there's 360 degrees in the cipher, but there's infinite amount of points in the cipher. Say it again. There's 360 degrees in the cipher, but there's infinite amount of points in the cipher. And mathematically, a cipher has 360 degrees. Degrees are an actual measurement of a circle. Points are almost something assumed, because this could be a point, that could be a point. A point is not a specific size. But when you're dealing with the science of mathematics, the actual circle contains infinite amount of points, because there's no definitive size of the point. But there are definitive measurements of degrees. So it could be a million people looking at the same particular point and see the same thing. So there's a million ways, or actually an infinite amount of ways that you can actually see equality. There's an infinite amount of ways that you can see knowledge, wisdom, all the way through born as cipher. That's the beauty of mathematics. The only thing we have to be is just consistent in that equation. If it comes from knowledge, born as cipher, and it makes sense, then it's right and exact. Even if the next man or woman come up here and they draw it up completely different, as long as it's in line with the equation, because that's what supreme mathematics is in some respects. It's a process or an equation in order to make something made manifest. As long as it's in alignment with that, then it's right and exact. You know, but we have to use our wisdom in order to be able to see that. Meaning, when you first get the knowledge of yourself, when you first get math and alphabet, you gotta be similar. Don't get this mistaken. You have to be similar to what Yakub did. Meaning, we don't play with two pieces of steel, but you experiment with your mathematics. How you get proficient at it? You gotta experiment with it. When I first got mathematics, I was, all right, now who can I talk to? Who can I say something to? Which person can I civilize? And you go out and you fail. You know, Eddie, it's great if you were successful from day one and you also, I failed a few times.
I ain't never get bombed. But I ain't never get bombed. But I have failed in the process of trying to civilize someone because I had to go through a similar process as Yaku. My two pieces of steel was my knowledge and my wisdom. So I went out there and was like, all right, okay, you 85? Boom! Then he came back with boom, and I was like, all right, hold on, let me go back real quick. Or the first sister I wanted to tell her, she the earth, she was like, nah, I'm God too. It's like, all right, let me go talk to my educator. You go through that until you get it right. Because that's knowledge and wisdom. And over time, you grow wise. And all the mathematics is infinite in degree. That's why they say knowledge is infinite. Most people outside this cipher used to get stuck on knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite. All of them are infinite. Every degree in supreme mathematics is infinite. Because if knowledge is infinite, how can wisdom, understanding, all the way to born not be infinite? If they came from knowledge. If knowledge is infinite and I apply it, you telling me when I apply something infinite, it becomes finite? That's not mathematically sound. So all the mathematics are infinite. It's just up to us to see that. Going back to that what? That wisdom. That's why it says be or born, because you can born something and it can die, right? But to be means to exist. When something exists, it has no shelf life. It has no birth record. It just is. So that infinite understanding and that wisdom is made born in that degree in the alphabet. If you got it like that, be or born. Like I said, I'm from Philly, so I got be or born. Some people just got be, some people just got born, some people got Bubba. I don't even know. You know what I mean? But that's how I got it. And that's how I saw it. You know what I mean? So, you never hear anybody quote actual facts. You never hear anybody quote actual facts. Wisdom degree in actual facts. The Atlantic Ocean covers 41,340,000 square miles. What's the relevance of the Atlantic Ocean in wisdom? It's the second largest body of water on the planet Earth. Really, there's only one body of water. Really. But if you want to break it down, you talk about breaking it down earlier, God. If you want to break it down, the Atlantic Ocean is the second largest body of water. Also, you look at what the Atlantic Ocean is, all right? It separates what they call Africa, Asia, Asia Minor, whatever you want to call it. I never dispute that. Whatever it is, that continent right there separates that from so-called North America. It's the wisdom, right? It's the wisdom degree. What's the relevance? How do you connect those dots? Make sense out of that. Well, in the 1 to 36, it says something about what? We wanted to go back to our own country, but could not swim 9,000 miles. That's literally, or is that figurative? I see it as both. Because when we talk about today's degree in the 1 to 36, I came to North America by myself, right? Meaning that I had the knowledge and wisdom, and I came here on my own to civilize what? Those who are uncivilized. So when we talk about the wisdom degree in the Atlantic Ocean, that's the travel, not just physically, but mentally. See, being born and raised in this country, we're made blind, deaf, and dumb when we were babies. Because the devil planted fear in us when we were white. Little boys and little girls. Tooth fairy, Santa Claus, jail. That's all fear. So the wisdom in relevance to the Atlantic Ocean, when I look at it symbolically, it tells me that I have to use my wisdom in order to go back to the root. Because they say wisdom is the way, and that's kind of cliche, but, I understand the point. My wisdom will allow me to go back to my origin, my original way of thinking, my original lifestyle, my original diet, my original conscious state, which is something we're still working towards. Because, we got a lot of back stuff we got to wash out. Because you can be vegan from day one. Potentially, you're not the same as someone who has generations of vegans behind you. It's just the way it is. But you got to have wisdom to understand that. You got to have wisdom to understand it and realize where you are. I'm going to stop. Peace.
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 I know I don't build a lot up here. I can be very short. Today's mathematics is wisdom. What you say?
I said no disclaimer.
Okay. Today's mathematics is wisdom. And I just want to piggyback on some of the things that God said. As far as dealing with wisdom, what a lot of people don't realize is that wisdom is also knowledge. Right? Because knowledge is an accumulation of facts. Wisdom is also an accumulation of facts. But when we deal with wisdom, we're talking about our experience. We let people come in peace. We're talking about our experience. And in order for it to be wisdom, you have to learn from it your life experiences. We say that knowledge should be dealing with respect. And when we deal with wisdom, we're dealing with the reflex. So look back at what you've been through and how you apply it. Going through life, we all make many mistakes. We make many bad decisions. But in order for you to show and prove that it made you wiser, you have to, when you face the same situation again, the decisions have to be different.
Peace.
So a person can't say that they're wise and they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again every time they face that scenario. In order for you to be wise, you have to show and prove it by improving on it. Everybody makes mistakes. This is why in this nation, we know that not everyone makes mistakes, everyone does things, some people do things that's not right and exact, but we still treat each other equally because we all understand where we came from. And we all understand that we're all going through things. So we don't judge people and say, oh, this person is not right and exact, this and that. But we do judge people's actions. So if your actions are wrong, you will be corrected on your action. And it's not because I think that I'm better than you, it's just because I've been through certain things and I can tell you the outcome of what's going to happen to you. When you understand that, peace, y'all understand? Okay, peace. When you understand that, you don't take things personal when someone corrects you on certain things. You understand? So we just deal with this. We deal with wisdom. All right, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it for a long time. Peace. Power hour? All right. Oh, yeah, peace. Let me just say one thing. All right, it's a power hour, so we're going to get started. There's a few people that's late. We wanted to build. I want to say happy Appreciation Day to everybody.
Thank you.
And we're going to get started with a poem by the great God, Hakeem. It's a brother that I know since when I was younger. Come on up on over here.
Peace. My name is Hakeem Allah. Today's mathematics is wisdom. The wisdom portion of the knowledge degree in our first lesson in 120 is, who is the original woman? The original woman is the Asiatic black woman, the receiver and bearer of light, the mother of civilization and queen of the universe. The wisdom degree in the 140 says, what is the circumference of the planet Earth? 24,896 miles, approximately 25,000. Now, if it's 24,896 miles, why would it have to take approximately 25,000? Those people are about two different people. Our Earth are approximately 25,000. If you deal with a woman that's 24,896 miles circumference, the 24th degree in 140 tells you what was his idea. So you're dealing with a woman that got her own idea. What is that idea? The 8th degree in the 140, or rather 114. Why does the devil keep you off his social equality? You got a woman that got an idea of keeping you away from her social equality so that she could born her own equality. No problem. Our Earth is approximately 25,000, meaning she got the wisdom of God. She ain't got no problem with her. But she gonna make things work. Born. Today is an excellent mathematical day for Earth Appreciation Day. Why do we appreciate our Earth? Because the beauty of our woman is the beauty of the night. Her skin is the beauty of darkness, and the darkness is the beauty of the rain. The beauty of the most precious jewels are just within their eyes. And this is but one aspect of the all that pride. It's shaped and formed with a universal perfection, perfection of a queen. An elevation of female perfection where all within the universe can be seen. They walk in beauty and carry themselves with Asiatic grace. They're the manifestation of heaven, their mental dwelling place. Their smiles, the smiles of happiness, and those with glorious glow. Their thoughts of peace and creative, all that was allowed to look. The vibration of all women is the vibration of the night, and the brightness of the starry heavens, their light sustains the light. The light of the moon is their knowledge being well spent, and invested in their beauty, sustaining their elegance. They're the woman of wise man from antique land, the king and their queendom, with whom they travel hand in hand. Thus their life is based upon the wisdom of their God. Is that the beauty of blackness, the creation of our God? Peace. Now, but today is earth. Why are they the earth? Because their hair like the clouds that rest in the sky. Their eyes are like precious stone. Their lips are the thickness of deep moist soil, and their tongue like the waves of the sea. Each of their breasts is a cluster of grapes, and their belly the scales of the beak. Their thighs are the work of nature's greatest creation, created for the purpose of born in God's nation. Their feet are like the roots of Amazon trees, they hold and sturdy and high. Their mountains are taken as high as the clouds, the means of their fertilization. Lit up by the rays and the heat of the light of the sun to sustain the life of their civilization. With the fruit of their arm, they planted vineyards. They wasted the pearls of the watery deep. It is jewel that all men see. They're truly black, they're truly fine. There's no one whose beauty surpasses their shine. They black gold shining bright, able to brighten the darkest of nights. Heaven exists within their throat's womb. They're the root from which where all nations bloom. This is why, without further delay or any hesitation, I say praise is due to the queen and the mother of civilization.
Peace. First, I want to thank the God for the wonderful poem and wonderful expression of today's mathematics. Next, coming to the stage, I don't know if he's prepared, but we have Latif. He's going to talk about the history of black women, and followed by. You don't know. All right.
Oh, that, I think you're talking about the young guard like T.
He the young guard. He the young
No,
guard.
the young
He
guard.
the old guard. He the young guard.
You ready to speak yet?
So again, we have Latif talk about the women of history. Peace. Peace. Peace.
I see today's mathematics as wisdom. And you say wisdom is the wiseness of one's words, ways, and actions. Wisdom is also a manifestation of knowledge. And the knowledge degree in the 140 said, who wrote the Holy Quran of the Bible? How long ago? And tell us why. Islam loses history every 25,000 years. The Holy Quran of the Bible was written by the original man, who is Allah, human being, black man from Asia. The Holy Quran of the Bible will expire in the year 25,000 or 9,080 years from the day of its writing. Planet Earth, which is the home of Islam, is approximately 25,000 miles in circumference. So the wise man of the East, the black man, makes his history of the Quran to equal his whole circumference. A year to every mile, because every time his history lasts for 25,000 years, he renews it for another 25,000 years. So in essence, in order for us to renew our history, according to our mathematics, we also said that the wisdom is our black woman. Then therefore we have to go through our black woman to renew our history. To even for the knowledge to be manifested into this world, we have to go through our woman. So today we have Earth Appreciation Day, and first, before I begin my long expression of this history, I first want to say I'm thankful to have my Earth, my black woman, agree with me in my struggle, in my building, helping me to raise my seeds and to continue to add on to my history. This is a great thing for me and a great achievement for us. And I hope that we continue to do that. That's something that I have to appreciate and show my adults today. But the history of the black man cannot be told without mention of the contribution of the role of the black woman that played in that history. Gods and earth, we have a history, a lineage, a great legacy that stems back before the building of the pyramids. Rarely can we find a historian account of these brilliant, beautiful, powerful black queens. Still, the few scholarly work that are available do little justice to even depict the actions and give credibility to their lives. Today I would like to highlight the account of some 9 or few queens that I have encountered. Bear with me while I add on to the wisdom of the accounts of these historic giants, warriors, rulers. I hope to show the impact that women in general have on history. Somewhere around the time 2000 BC, the original people were under serious invasion from nomadic hordes out of West Asia, as we now call Europe. King Sekenere Tao of the ancient Kemet Empire played a pivotal role in a multinational war against the Hyksos. However, history should have remembered his wife. The famous Queen Ahotep. She was the most remarkable woman in the history of Kemet. Sekenere had been killed on the battlefield against the Hyksos. Discouraged troops deserted the battlefield. Had it not been for the intervention of Queen Ahotep, this battle could have marked the end of our struggle, of our history. Because of her intervention, she was able to muster the troops in her husband's name. Because of her intervention, she was able to breathe courage back into the troops of the deserted. She was able to form an alliance with the Nubians, Ethiopians, and Bantu forces and repel the Hyksos invaders and pursue the liberation of the realm. Ahotep was the mother of Amos Nefertari, she who was never far from the gods. She and her brother Amos, who has taken the title Pharaoh of the Two Lands, together they chased the Hyksos completely out of the Sinai desert and back into the mountains of West Asia. Amos Nefertari accompanied her brother in every battle and even led troops in these battles. After the war was over, she ensured that the universities and temples were restored, and she reestablished the dynastic customs down to every detail. She was in her 40s when her brother died. She continued to rule alongside her son, Amenhotep I. Amos Nefertari literally became a goddess in ancient Kemet. The people began to worship her. She was known as the protector of the poor, the one who answers the prayers of the poor. And the people of Kemet had a great adoration for this queen. There would be another queen some 500 years after Amos Nefertari by the name of Hatshepsut that would win the hearts of the people of Kemet. She is said to be the direct descendant of Amos Nefertari. Through the dynastic custom, her name means the one of noble bearing. Upon the death of her father, Tutmosis I, she unites with her brother, Tutmosis II, and she became the royal spouse, or the first lady of the Two Lands. Her husband soon died, and she then served as the crown pharaoh until her child, Tutmosis III, came of age. Her rule is an oasis of peace, of calm in the storm, that is soon to come on the continent of Africa. Hatshepsut think only of the prosperity of her kingdom. She managed her wealth skillfully and boosted the economy of Kemet to spark another golden age. She would extend the trade routes with Kemet with people of the East, in India, Arabia, as well as in the Greek islands. Hatshepsut sent caravans deep into Asia and ships to the port of the Mediterranean. But her greatest enterprise was her expedition to the kingdom of Put in Ethiopia and Nubia. Queen Candace, ruler of the kingdom of Kush and Nubia in Ethiopia, was another long-lasting dynastic black culture that ruled Africa. In 750, the kingdom had extended north along the Nile and founded the 25th dynasty. The queen of Kush, they were called Candace. Two names in this particular reign of history. The first is Amaranas. She was a queen of Kush when the Romans followed the Nile to the south after the defeat of Cleopatra. She was a courageous woman who had lost an eye in battle. Remembering her pharaonic ancestor, she went down the Nile to meet the Romans in battle and beat them back to Aswan. Queen Amaranas harassed the Roman troops to the very end. She is usually recognized as the Candace of the account in the battles against the Roman Empire. The term is Kandaki, which means Queen Mother. There were many Kandaki in the Kushite Empire as well as in other kingdoms in Africa. In fact, before Amaranas, there was another Kandaki, Queen Mother, who put fear in the hearts of Alexander the Great. He would not dare to even enter Nubia or never go further down south into Egypt. But it is Amaranas that history records as the queen who routs the Romans and drive them back in the Meroitic War. Makeda, the queen of Saba, was also notable in the annals of history. Saba is a black Kushite empire of Ethiopian origin. It extends into Arabia, Yemen, and across the Red Sea. The empire ruled from 1200 BC to about 275 AD. Makeda is mentioned in the Bible in the second book of Kings. However, the story was taken from a text called the Kabra Negas, which outlines this supposed visit of Queen Makeda and King Solomon. According to the Kabra Nagas, the union of Makeda and Solomon bore a son.